Hi, and welcome to today's episode. This is day 8, believe it or not, of our 30 days, 30 Proverbs in 30 days challenge. Nothing quite like a challenge to drive you and to cause you to grow in many directions. The challenge stretches you, and yes, we're doing this in the lockdown version 2 here in the United Kingdom, England. Hi, welcome. My name's Olan Adefihan. I'm usually the host of the Worship Cafe audio podcast, but we're doing a sidestep in lockdown version 2, and we're digging deep into the wisdom nuggets that are contained in the book of Proverbs. So let's dive in. Today we're looking at Proverbs chapter 8, as it's our day 8, and we're going to read from King James Version. Thank you to all the listeners. We got feedback. Some are like, we're staunch, die-hard King James lovers. We love other versions, but King James Version is the one, like God still speaks in Old English. Thou dost this, but I get it. I love King James. I'm a lover of King James. I grew up on it. So I can understand where you're coming from. But anyway, we'll start to make you happy on King James Version. Now, verse 1 says, Proverbs chapter 8, doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of high places, by the way, in the places of the paths. She crieth at the gate, at the entry of the city, at the coming in, at the doors. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye an understanding heart. Be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness, and there is nothing forward or perverse in them. Let's take it back. I, wisdom, I'm crying. And I'm putting out my voice. I'm shouting on the top of my voice. I'm saying at the rooftops. I'm saying in the high places. I'm standing at the wayside, on the paths where people will come. And I'm crying at the gate of the city, like in very prominent places. I'm hiding in plain sight. And I'm calling unto you, men. I call. My voice is to the sons of man. And that could include daughters as well, because the Bible was written like in a very male-biased way. That's the way the Bible counted. In those days, they counted men and women. 100 men and women and children. But, so for cultural relevance, we can see that he's talking to every one of us. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. Something about wisdom that if you possess it, it sets you apart from your peers. Something about wisdom that if you possess it, it makes you sought after. It puts you in a class of your own. Something about wisdom that everyone who possesses it end up being unique. They end up being desirable or desired. They end up being, like the things you used to describe a diamond. It's rare, it's a gem, it's to be desired, it's priceless. That's sort of the class that wisdom can put you and I in. The problem is, wisdom is crying out in open spaces, in prominent places, in plain sight. But we seem to be ignoring, at least the young man in this story seems to be oblivious to this fact. Now unto you young men I'm crying, to you simple, please understand wisdom. And ye fools, that's a very strong word, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be the right things, not the wrong things. I will have come and I'm shouting and I'm getting your attention so I can point you in the right direction for you to be traveling. A young friend of mine said to me, this is maybe about a year ago, he was in a conference and he spoke up and he says that actually direction is more important than speed. As he said it, he sat back down and the penny dropped. In fact, the silence and then the roar of appreciation from the audience was it was remarkable. Like he just said, silence, many of us young people are in a hurry. We have the energy. We want to go quick, just go. But in any direction, Any direction is not usually the direction of your dreams. And if you're headed down the wrong direction, doesn't matter how fast you're traveling, you'll be going very quickly nowhere. And so what wisdom is saying is, I know you've got energy, I know you've got strength, I know you've got pace, but with pace, get some direction. And that's what I'm here to give you. I would talk about excellent things and right things. I will put you on the right path. My mouth will speak truth, and wickedness you will not find in me, because that's an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness, and there is nothing forward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understands, and right to them that find knowledge. Now receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. Now this one gets me. Somebody puts a bar of gold there and says, this is an opportunity for you to gain wisdom, and this is a bar of gold. What would you choose? Someone thinks and says, I don't even have to think about this. I just give me that bar of gold right now and I'll be on my way. But that's in his mind the wise choice. But no, the Bible is saying choose wisdom and instruction rather than choice gold. Wow. Why? For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. Wisdom is better than rubies. It's funny that people live in or are descendants of, the mines, owners of the land where these mines, where rubies are found, where gold is found, where precious things are mined from the earth. And these people are living in poverty. Now, the owners, the children of the descendants of the owners of the land where these mining activities are happening are living in poverty, whereas those who don't even own the land, who come in to mine these things, discover the rubies, go off to sell them for multiples of whatever they paid for access to that land. That's wisdom in operation. Yeah? Now, that wisdom is better than rubies, because now that wisdom gives them the opportunity to not just get one ruby, but to continue to get as much rubies or diamonds or gold or precious metal as they can. So help them God. And I'm thinking, wow, some people will fight to the death to preserve one ruby, if only they had the wisdom to look and say, actually, why should we fight for one when we can keep it all, when we can own it all, when we can better manage the resources that we've been handed, we've been given. Verse 12, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and I find out knowledge of witty inventions. Today, the new gold is software. Today, the new gold is innovative solutions. People who are developing apps to help you boil tea, apps to connect your washing machine to your fridge and to your meter, and to just integrating the Internet of Things. People who are thinking of future solutions, how to heat your house when you're not there, so that when you come in it's crisp and warm. You're thinking, why do I need that? But why not? Because the future will be different than how we've had it today. People who are thinking ahead and, creating solutions to problems that haven't even happened yet. That's the new gold, and that's wisdom. To come up with creative and witty inventions, witty solutions to problems. And that's what wisdom can do. That the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the forward mouth do I hate. Now, counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding, I have strength. Counsel is mine, and so is sound wisdom. He says, I've got strength and understanding. Wisdom gives you strength. You could be outnumbered, but wisdom gives you strength. I heard a story of a samurai who was outnumbered, and this was I think it's a Japanese story. He was outnumbered by some men who had come to teach him a lesson and to take his life ultimately, because samurais in that era, they fought to the death. Now there were 7 of them, and they had agreed to meet at a certain location to ambush him, which he caught wind of. So he got there way in advance of them. He got there much earlier than they had planned. He was waiting on a very tall tree. And so they came and they lined up in a battle formation, hoping to take him from all sides. But because he was there ahead of them, he jumped down from the tree, slashing the first man. And obviously, all of them, startled by this guy's sudden turn on them, jumped into a straight line, a single file. So they were not even in any formation at all because of that element of surprise. And they sort of lined up in a way that he could take them on one by one. and his plan outwitted the strength of 7 men. Now, you may not believe in samurais or sword fights. I don't too, but that story highlights that not just about strength, like even wisdom gives you power beyond strength. Like the enemy could be all strong. They could have 1,000, marching men, but the wisdom of a wise battle commander can outwit even a 1,000-man army, with only 300. So, verse 14 says, "By me kings reign and princes decree justice." By me kings reign. Think about that. By wisdom kings reign. Solomon was so popular in his day and so feared, so revered because of the wisdom that he had. And he's saying not just him, all kings rule by wisdom. And that's why kings, not just with their wisdom, they have a panel of advisors. They have an advisor to the advisor. They have all kinds of wise people surrounding them, giving them counsel, to help them run the city. Now, a wise king will have wise men around him to counsel him. It says, by wisdom, kings reign and princes decree justice. It's a very popular thing when Solomon asked for wisdom and God gave it to him. One of the first cases he judged that, just sealed his notoriety as this guy who has such a depth of wisdom was that case between 2 women who came to him. One had slept on her baby and the baby died overnight, and she swapped it with the baby of her neighbor who slept next to her. And when the woman awoke, she was like, the dead baby was with her, but she's like, this is not my baby. And she looks across the room and sees the other woman who's there, and she's like, that's my baby. And she says, no, that's not your baby. And then the argument ensued. And so when they dragged themselves before the king, it was such a confusing situation to behold. The real mother and the fake mother both laying claim to the child. And so Solomon paused and says, you know what? Take the baby. You take a knife. You take a sword. Split the baby in half and give 1/2 to each person. Wow. That seemed like a very cruel thing to say. And then very quickly the emotions changed. The real mother shouts, no, whatever you do, don't kill that child. Just let her take it. It's not worth it. Let her take it. And the fake mother was like, well, my child's already dead. I got nothing to lose. Yeah, why not kill this other baby? It's like, whoa. You, being the real mother of the child, showed the right emotion because you knew that child was precious. You wouldn't let that child die. But the other person says, well, that's not my child anyway. And if this child, lives or dies, I couldn't be bothered. I'm already in pain. I want somebody else to be in pain with me. And such was the display of wisdom from Solomon that judged a very difficult matter. People could look at the emotions of both parents and their arguments and lines of counter arguments and been there for 3 days and still not come up with a solution. But there you go. By me kings reign and princes decree justice. Even all the judges of the earth do the same. By me, I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Yeah, seek wisdom. It's not just even enough to seek wisdom, but to seek wisdom early. Seeking wisdom early is very important for living, because when we choose wisdom early, we avoid the pitfalls that can happen early in our walk. So this young guy is caught in the wrong crowd very early and ends up in prison for something he knows nothing about because of the danger of association. And then his life spirals out of control. Now he's caught in the web of the law. He comes out with a criminal conviction, cannot find a job, goes from one handyman role to another, can't really hold down a steady job because there's certain places you can't do, certain job roles you can't fulfill. And then your income ability gets hampered. What else are you expecting? You go back to the same gangs you swore never to hang out with, and then it's just the road life from then on. And it can never get better unless there's a divine intervention. That life pretty much is sealed. And this is the thing, not just finding wisdom, but finding it early. To the young men, to the young women, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are, is a fact. It's also a truth. When you find wisdom, he helps you. Wisdom, she helps you to avoid the pitfalls of wrong decisions, hanging with the wrong crowd, doing the wrong things when you should be focusing on other things early on in life. Riches and honor are with me, yea, durable riches and righteousness. I see life on the fast lane. A lot of young people want to get the trappings. They want to wear Gucci. They want to wear other name brands. Yeah, look at my Nikes. Look at my this. Look at my that. You know, I'm pushing food. I'm doing all these things. Like, seriously, these are not durable. These aren't durable wealth. It says riches and honor, the real honor, are with me, and durable riches as well, and righteousness. The kind of wealth that makes you go to sleep at night and not wonder if the cops are coming to bust down your door. The sort of wealth and honor that makes you sleep easy, not fearing any retribution for anything. That is the sort of wealth and honor that wisdom is looking to impute. It says, my fruit is better than gold. It says it again, yea, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I lead in the way of righteousness, and in the midst of the paths of judgment, I am leading, and that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. Wow. You want to inherit substance? You want to fill your treasure houses? You need wisdom. Remember, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. In all you're getting, get understanding. Very critical, very important. Wisdom for living. This podcast will be right back. Verse 22. Welcome back. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from the everlasting form, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth. When he established the clouds above. When he strengthened the fountains of the deep. When he gave to the sea his decree. And when the waters should not pass, that the waters should not pass his commandment. When he appointed the foundations of the earth. Then I was by him, as one brought up with him. I was his daily delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of the earth. And my delights were with the sons of men. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways. Hear instruction, and be wise, and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that heareth my watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my door. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord. Who finds me, wisdom, finds life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord. Now but he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul, and all they that hate me love death. Wow. All they that hate me love death. It's important you understand where this is going. All they that hate me love death, because wisdom's always crying out in the hidden places, in the public places, trying to get your attention, trying to help you understand that life isn't a simple journey as it may at first appear. Yeah? Life isn't as simple as it may appear, but wisdom can help you navigate. I'm going to just pause and read a few verses at random from the Message version of Proverbs chapter 8. It says, I am Lady Wisdom, and I live next to sanity. Knowledge and discretion live just down the street. Now the fear of God means hating evil. I think that's clear enough. The fear of God means that you dislike or you hate passionately everything that's evil. Now, whose ways I hate with a passion also. Pride and arrogance and crooked talk. Good counsel and common sense are my characteristics. I am both insight and the virtue to live it out. I am both insight and the virtue to live it out. Think about that. I am insight and the virtue to live out insight. So what is insight? Insight is having a taking a closer look and seeing what others are not seeing. Insight is having an inner depth of understanding on a subject matter. It's like talking to Bill Gates about computers and talking to Joe Bloggs about computers. Joe Bloggs may know a lot of things about what he's read, but Bill Gates will talk about computers in a way that it just comes to light because he's lived it. In fact, in many ways, he was one of the pioneers, so he's lived it. He embodies what he's talking about. Whereas Joe Bloggs would have knowledge based on what he's read, the other's talking about experience. But insight, wisdom gives you insight. So you begin to think and process and see and talk like somebody who's lived it, because wisdom enables you to see through the eyes of understanding. And then the virtue to live it out, to become what you see. The virtue to do it. It says, put to will and to do God's divine pleasure. That's the power that God has given to us, and wisdom and helps us especially to do that. Now with my help, leaders rule, and lawmakers legislate fairly. Sorry, I'm reading very, very quickly. Forgive my reading this afternoon. And then with my help, governors govern along with all in legitimate authority. I love those who love me, and those who look for me find me. Wealth and glory accompany me. I like to be associated with wealth and glory. I'm going to use for myself a little bit more wisdom. I'm going to grab as much wisdom as I can get. Wisdom, substantial honor, and a good name are the benefits that come from being associated with Lady Wisdom. Why not? Now, God sovereignly made me. The first, the basic, before he did anything else. I was brought into being a long time ago, well before the earth got its start. I arrived on the scene before the oceans. Yes, even before springs and rivers and lakes, before mountains were sculpted and hills took shape, I was already there, newborn, long before God stretched out earth's horizons and tended to the minute details of soil and weather and set sky firmly in place. I was there. Oh, Lady Wisdom, I think you're bragging now. Yeah. But that's the truth based on how wisdom sees it. When he mapped and gave orders or borders to wild oceans, built the vast vault of heaven, and installed the foundations that fed the ocean. When he drew a boundary for the sea, posted a sign that said no trespassing, and then asked and staked out the earth's foundations, I was right there with him, making sure everything fit. Day after day, I was there with my joyful applause, always enjoying his company, delighted with the world of things and creatures, happily celebrating the human family. So my dear friends, listen carefully. Those who embrace these my ways are the most blessed. Mark a life of discipline and live wisely. Don't squander your precious life. Blessed is the man and blessed is the woman who listens to me, awake and ready for me each morning, alert and responsive as I start my day's work. When you find me, you will find real life, to say nothing of God's good pleasure. But if you wrong me, you damage your very soul. And when you reject me, you're flirting with death. Wisdom is so principal, so key. But in our day and age, what do we do with wisdom? We shove it aside. I know a time is coming when we will look back and wonder at the proverbs that our parents taught us, to those of us who grew up in church, and really look back and say, wow, I wish that I had listened more. I wish I had paid more attention. I wish that I had understood it deeper, because it becomes an anchorage, an anchor point for us, an anchorage for us in the times of storm and uncertainty for the world, like we're going through now. The world's going through a pandemic, and nations of the world are troubled. Whole governments unsure how to proceed. Everyone's just ticking away and taking a stab in the dark. But wisdom will provide sustenance in these times. Wisdom will provide security in these times. Wisdom will become a strength by which you could leverage. This has been the Worship Cafe audio podcast, 30 days, 30 Proverbs in 30 days challenge, day 8. I hope you found this useful. Get wisdom, get life. Hate wisdom and love death. God bless you. I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.